So how about other things that you guys might have that you want to talk about? Anything? Come on. I've never known Keith to be shy. Now he's on camera. He ain't gonna say anything.
We came up with a
Just waiting. I'm just waiting.
Go
so
ahead, Sam.
we came up with a checklist for a walkthrough inspection for the client
Uh-huh.
to do their walkthrough prior to closing, like the day of the closing.
Uh-huh.
Check your, look at the ceilings, look for moisture stains, bring a pair of binoculars, look at your roof, look for any missing shingles, simple stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Look for, turn everything on, turn the AC on, make sure it works, or the heat, if it's that time of the year. If there was any issues that the seller had said they would fix, we'd give them a list of that to check those. And
Mm-hmm.
to be honest with you, I don't know who's using it. I know we hand it out, but we were hoping that people would. It's another way of people, remembering who their home inspection company was.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we use prior clients for is feedback. So the fact of the matter is, I would just call up a couple of prior clients and that whoever did the inspection and just say, hey, just checking in with you, make sure everything went fine. I'm sure you got closed by now. And I just wanted to find out, was that checklist that we gave you for the walkthrough helpful at all?
Yeah.
Just ask them. I mean, you know what? Here's the thing. Um, I will say to home inspectors, do you market your prior clients? And you know what they say to me? No. And I'll say, well, how come? And they say, because I'm afraid they're going to be mad at me about something that happened at the inspection. And I'm like, are you serious? Did you just say that to me? So anyway, so my response always is, the fact of the matter is that this is an opportunity to right any wrongs. So you care about your customer, and if there's something didn't go right, then what happens? You want to know about it and see what you can do about it. And not everybody wants money or anything like that from you. I mean, I just didn't know this or didn't know that. What can you learn? How can you improve your brand? Okay, so I mean, nine times out of 10, home inspectors do great jobs, more than nine times out of 10.
Yeah.
So the rarity, I mean, you guys are all trained and really good at this. You wouldn't be on this call if you weren't. And the fact of the matter is that I have no fear in my prior clients. I love them. And if something's not right, I want to know it and I'm gonna fix it.
Mhm.
So you get an opportunity then to turn them into an ultimate brand fan. So I would just ask for feedback. One of the things that really bummed me on a multi-inspector firm was that we had this coupon that we left and a little note that said, hey, we set everything back, blah, blah, blah. And oh, by the way, if you're moving within 50 miles, what we'd love to do is help you with buy your new home. When you buy it, we'd love to be your inspector. And here's a discount coupon for you to use it. Well, when I'd go in after the inspectors, I'd just pop in. They wouldn't know when I was coming. And half of them didn't leave it. Okay, so we saw a significant drop in that business, that revenue stream when they weren't doing it. Then I'd have to pitch a fit, and then they do it again. And then when I got the thumb off the back of their neck, they stopped doing it, and the revenue dropped down from it. And I'm tracking it, so I see it's not happening. Okay, so I'm saying sometimes your employees are or your team members aren't always as faithful as the owner about doing some of these things.
Yeah. Correct.
So you got to stay on them, and it's asking for referrals and feedback and introducing the loyalty program at the end of the inspection when they're the happiest about what you've done. So that's the thing. And we could talk a lot about, and maybe we have a meeting about talking about this, but how is it that you create your experience with brand new buyers? And how do you create that wonderful experience when you have move up buyers or buyers who are very seasoned like myself? Sometimes I want to follow the home inspector around. I'd pay a home inspector to come and do my own home inspections. I want to, talk to them about it. I don't want to get in their way, but the fact of the matter is I do want to see what they're doing and talk with them about it. Some people do, some people don't. So how to read people, that kind of thing to make that experience and increase your brand fans.
With the client.
Mind if I ask a question?
Sure.
So, I was thinking, like, to us, it's a job. We go out, we do it. And I think that in some ways, we kind of take for granted sometimes that the whole situation, right? So I was thinking, how the hell do we, excuse my language, how do
Oh,
we,
good.
how do we make it so that it's an event for the client? Because think about it, it's an experience for them, right? They're nervous, they're
Excited.
a lot of, yeah, excited, a lot of moving parts. They're moving their whole family. They're thinking about schools. It's like, it's an event for them.
Hmm.
How do we, it's like, how do we make it memorable so that they remember that we did that inspection?
Right. So it starts with setting expectations. I think, Brandon, you may have a different rule, but I mean, one of the things you need to ask when they do, when somebody calls in to schedule inspection, you need to find out, are they a first-time home buyer, move-up buyer, seasoned buyer? Because what happens is the way you customize your approach to those different groups are very different. Sometimes we have clients that even ask what they do for a living. Okay, if they're an attorney or an engineer, they have certain behavior patterns. So let's just take Sam, a first-time home buyer. When I come in, the first thing I say, who's nervous? And they're like, they all raise their hand. I say, I get it. First time I bought them, I was nervous too. I bet you're nervous. So here, I'm gonna try to help you not be nervous. So, and this is how I'm gonna do it. And so that I do the raise my hand thing and this, that, and the other. But intermediate home buyer, I try to give them, I try to build relationships. I'd come home and I would say to Beth, I met some of the most fascinating people today. And I would tell her all these things about the people. And she said, how do you know all this stuff? And I said, because I talk to my clients. You know what? I can walk, talk, and chew gum. My job is to do a great inspection to the standards of practice and also build a very positive relationship. So when they leave, so I'm eating at and Kip may know this one. I'm up there in Woodstock at the Honey Baked Ham store, and I've come out from lunch, and it's kind of a shopping center place. And somebody said, "Oh, there's Ken, our home inspector." And the only thing I thought is, I hope to hell they say their name, because you know how many people I've served. So they did, and they came up and they just loved on me, and my face got red how nice they were.
How is
But
that
Give them
possible?
that wow factor during the
it was the wow factor. I try to give them the wow factor, and I go in, I'm fun and funny. I had this lady ask me one day, this black lady, she said, Ken, are you a home inspector or a comedian? I said, girlfriend, I am some of both. I try to really just get them energized and make them part of the inspection if they want to be. There's people that don't. You read that in the first 5 minutes. There's a great book called The First 5 Minutes. And what that premise of that book is, you'll be able to observe nonverbal communication of the people and understand them. 80% of communication is nonverbal. Okay, you can really hone in on that and figure out who they are and what they want, how you can deal with them. And I'm an expert at that. So I'm going to give you the experience that you want, whether you're a move-up buyer or you're a first-time buyer or you're a seasoned buyer. I'll often ask, hey, what do you do for a living? And then they'll talk to me about it. And then I'll say, that's awesome. And then I'll learn a little bit about it. All I'm doing, I already know all about it, but I'm asking them questions and then building that relationship. Now, you may have gone to a party a time or two and somebody's talking to you, and you really just comment on it. Yeah, that's cool and all that. And when they leave, they tell their spouse or their significant other that they met this coolest person to place. It was Sam. And with Sam, you didn't say much. You know what? You just listened. People like to talk. So I try to get them to open up and tell me stuff. That's how I know all about people. I try to lead them to an open. Because you know what happens? I know the average transaction value and the lifetime value of a prior client is huge. Why would I spend 5 times more money to chase one-offs when I got people that know me, like me, and trust me? Thousands of them. So I just don't do it. I'm not saying I'm not after new business, because I am, but I'm after the prior client relationship. They already know me, like me, and trust me. What more do I need? They know I'm a good guy. Some of them think I'm weird, but
I would add a couple things to that too, and 100% agree with you, Ken. Someone, I didn't see who it was, but someone said the wow factor, right? And again, that goes back to, for me at least, the experience that they have with our company, and it's beyond just like the 2 or 3 hours of doing the home inspection. It's also that first point of contact. What's their experience there? And then the follow-up also. And here's a perfect example, just like last month. So I guess now it's July. We had one of our gals, she does our marketing. We had her call, do mystery shopping to some of our local inspector competition here in town. I don't know if I told this story last week or not, but we did that, and she took some notes on all the calls and gave a little presentation to me and Jody, who does our scheduling. And most of them, it was like probably 10 calls she made. Most of them, it was the inspector who answered the phone. He was really quick, had a really complicated fee structure. And you could tell that he just was in a hurry because he was maybe on an inspection. And then you compare that with Jody, who answers our calls. She's professional. She's always there. She'll take the time to talk to them, answer their questions. She does a great job of upselling. She gets named in our 5-star reviews all the time. And she was the first point of contact, right? So that's part of the experience. And then Sam, for you talked about maybe potentially following up with clients after the inspection. I'm doing all those calls, and I said that it takes me an hour or two every week to do that, just to make those calls. We text them out a review link on top of that. And again, like I often get, I haven't been involved with the inspection. I didn't do the inspection. I didn't answer the phone. All I did was my only contact with the client in that case was just that one phone call after the inspection. And oftentimes I'll get named in the review as well, just because, I did the follow-up call and they were so impressed with that. The business owner actually took the time to call them up. Yeah. And so again, it just goes back to that whole experience and making them feel like they're so important and the only client we had that day. And with that, I'm going to hop off here in a sec, Ken, but that was my 2 cents.
Sure. I'm going to say one other thing too, is that, and Brandon, I know you got to get to that, the first time home buyer seminar notes, you can go ahead and do that. But if you're in a position to do it, Sam, and others in a multi-inspector firm, I would just show up out at the inspection. The inspector would never know when I was coming. I'd introduce myself to the client, say I'm Ken, president of Southern Home Inspection Services, and I'm not just doing a quality control check to make sure everything's going the way we want it to go for you so that you have a great experience. And I'll ask them a couple little questions. Did your inspector do a introduction with you on the driveway? And did you get the information you need? Did you know what was going to happen today? Or I'd be in there and I'd listen to the wrap up of the inspector to make sure that they're doing it. And like Brandon said, there's a lot of times I was in a review. Damn, the home inspector president of the company showed up on the inspection for a QC check. So, I was always friendly and nice. And, I would never, ever say anything to the inspector, even if he's not doing something right, I would never say something in front of the customer. But it's important for me to know that, you got 13 guys going full time and, not everything's going to be perfect. I want to see it myself. So that's very impressive to the customer. That's part of the experience that we provided as well. Lots of little things you can do, lots of little things. All right, other questions? Anybody got anything else, Keith? I've never heard you this quiet.
Yeah, I'm quiet today.
He got the camera on, man. He's afraid to say anything now because we'll see him.
I had a camera last time, Ken.
Oh, yeah, it was a phone, though. It was small. All right, everybody. Well, listen, we're going to say goodbye to you. Thank you very much for being on the call. We appreciate it. You can come back to Home Inspector Huddle and you can listen to this call in the next day or so. And the others, I think the staff already has them up. Dill, you guys, team members got them up. Dill is our general manager, so he handles all of those details, not me. So he gets all the calls up for everybody.
Thanks for your time, Ken.
Thank you, Ken.
Hey, thank you, Ken.
You are welcome, folks.
Thank
We'll
you, Ken.
see you next week. We'll have another exciting topic on open mic.
Let's do it.
All
Good
right,
seeing
guys.
everyone. Have a good evening.
Kip, it is great to
Yeah.
see you, man. It is great to see you. I hadn't seen Kip in a month of Sundays, so that's good to see you.
Great seeing y'all. Thank you.
All right.
Take
Have a
care.
great week, everybody.